At the 2018 Fujiya Avic Spring Tokyo Headphone Festival, Shure will be unveiling their new Shure KSE1200 electrostatic earphone system. This is, simply put, a Shure KSE1500 without the DAC and equalizer, with more battery life and priced $1,000 lower. Now you're perhaps thinking what I meant to say is that the KSE1200 is like a KSE1500. No, I'm saying it is a KSE1500. With the introduction of the KSE1200, it can get a bit confusing without a simple explanation, so let me explain. The Shure KSE1500 system, which was released around 2.5 years ago, is made up of the Shure KSE1500 full-range electrostatic earphones and the Shure KSA1500 DAC and electrostatic amplifier combo. The Shure KSE1200 system, which is essentially being launched right at this very moment, is comprised of the Shure KSE1500 full-range electrostatic earphones and the brand new Shure KSA1200 electrostatic amplifier. To be clear, both systems use the same exact full-range electrostatic earphones. Here's a close-up of the earphones that came with the KSE1200 system. I know, it's a silly naming convention, but at least you now understand very clearly that both systems are using the same KSE1500 full-range electrostatic earphones. But do they sound the same? Do the amps of both systems sound the same? Yes, the Shure KSA1200, the brand new amp that is the other half of the new Shure KSE1200 system, is the exact same analog amplifier section found in the KSA1500. The key difference is that the older KSA1500 comes with a built-in 2496 DAC and digital equalizer. The brand new KSA1200 is just the analog portion of the KSA1500 in a smaller chassis and with more battery life. Let's talk about that battery life. The older KSA1500 will provide around 7 to 10 hours of operation, depending on whether or not you're using its digital bits and pieces. The new KSA1200 will provide around 12 hours of use, so you're getting a couple more hours of battery life per charge with the KSE1200 system. That's a nice bonus, especially because I rarely use the KSA1500's built-in DAC. For me, the KSE1500 has been used as much at home and at the office as on the go. When I'm at home or at work then, I'll source it with the best desktop DACs I can, like the Chord Dave or the Chord Hugo 2, the Shit Audio Yggdrasil, the Benchmark DAC 3 HGC, and other outstanding desktop DACs. When I'm on the go, the Chord Hugo 2 and the Chord Mojo are my primary sources for it, or if I'm not using my laptop, then I'll use portable digital audio players by Sony, Astel, and Kern & Fio. Again, I hardly use the KSA1500's built-in DAC, so I'll be swapping the KSA1500 for the KSA1200 now. Another bonus is that the new KSA1200 chassis is a bit more compact because it doesn't have DAC circuitry or an equalizer, and so the KSA1200 doesn't need a display. So how does the Shure KSE1200 system sound? If you haven't already done so, I strongly suggest you watch our HeadFi TV episode entirely dedicated to the Shure KSE1500, which we'll include a link to in the description of this video. We go into quite a lot of detail in that video about the multi-year research and development effort behind the KSE1500, as well as discussion about its performance and, of course, its sound. Everything I said then still applies to the KSE1200 system today, because again, it sounds exactly the same. It remains the most resolving, most detailed, and to my ears, the best sounding in-ear monitor I've ever heard, regardless of form factor, regardless of price. It's like listening to a full-range electrostatic headphone, something like this Stax SR009S, but in a very quiet room or an anechoic chamber. Imagine having the detail retrieval that comes with top-flight electrostatic headphones set against the backdrop of near silence. This is a singularly unique experience that no other headphone provides. I still remember a couple of years back when a respected headphone engineer from another company first heard the KSE1500, I think it was at an AES event. He called me to confirm that DSP was not being employed when using the KSA1500 in analog mode, which I'd said in the video. I confirmed that it doesn't. He could not believe that a miniature full-range electrostatic driver could generate such full, impactful sound without DSP. But it does. This is the kind of sound you get when a company like Shure dedicates the efforts of around 40 people over a period of 8 years to develop these earphones. The KSE1500 and now also this KSE1200 system are, in my opinion, like in-ear versions of Sennheiser's Orpheus and HE1 projects. They're passion projects that these companies devoted their full engineering resources to develop with outstanding, almost unbelievable outcomes. If you're at the Fujiya Avic Tokyo Headphone Festival this weekend and you want to hear what I still think are the best sounding in-ear monitors ever created, then make sure to stop by Shure's exhibit to hear the new Shure KSE1200 system or the Shure KSE1500 system, because again they sound exactly the same. That you can have this level of performance and more battery life for $1,000 less than before is an absolute bonus, especially if you don't need the built-in DAC and equalizer of the KSA1500. Anyway, that's the new Shure KSE1200 system. It should be available around mid-May, and I'm sure I'll be saying more about it down the road. Thanks for watching this episode of HeadFi TV. I'll see you in the next episode and on the forums at headfi.org.